Scorpio, this is a year that you are attracting the right people into your universe, and you are inviting the wrong people to exit stage left. Hi, my name is Comet, and welcome to my Cosmic Corner of the Internet, where we discuss all things astrology and today, all things Scorpio in the year 2024. What are the major big picture themes and transits that the Scorpions will experience? And furthermore, how you can flow in synchrony with these cosmic currents, like the water sign that you are. How you can seize and take advantage of where the universe is guiding you, as well as how you can navigate away from some of the rapids within the cosmos, so to speak, some of the more challenging influences that you will experience as you navigate this year. And just in case you're unfamiliar with me or my channel, hi, my name is Comet. Welcome to the Cosmic Corner. I want to highlight that my most central intention with every single video that you'll find on this channel, every single class I teach, everything I do, all revolves around this mission of empowering individuals with astrology. It is never my intention to fearmonger you with this information. It is never my intention to make you feel like a victim to the cruel and mean cosmos. It is never my intention to disempower you when it comes to your goals and aims for 2024. My job here is to communicate your transits honestly and directly. I will be straight up with you, but also seek to empower you with information around how you can lean into these transits, how you can stay open to where the universe is guiding you to go and grow. And this forecast is part of my brand new series called the 12 Days of Cosmos, where I am moving through every single sign, letting you know the major themes and transits that you will experience within the year ahead. I'm moving backwards from Pisces to Aries with new videos posted every single Monday, Wednesday, and Friday until we move all the way through the Zodiac. This is a brand new series on my channel. It's a little out of my comfort zone, so I deeply appreciate any bit of engagement that you can give, from a like to a comment to a share, sharing it to a fellow friend, to a fellow Scorpion, letting them know, hey, here's what us Scorpions are moving through. And I want to highlight, you may know that within astrology we have many different signs, many different placements. Definitely listen to the forecast of your ascendant. That will be the most accurate snapshot of your 2024. But I also advise listening to your sun sign because of solar houses. How I deliver this information is derived a lot from houses, which is why I recommend rising and sun. But you are so welcome to listen to your moon, Mercury, Venus, your other placements. Feel free, just see what themes resonate for you. So settle in, Scorpio, because we have a lot to discuss, from Uranus and your opposite sign, shaking up your connections, from your modern ruler Pluto, shifting signs. So settle in, Scorpio, because we have a lot to discuss, from Uranus moving through your opposite sign, creating upheavals and disruptions and changes coming in through your connections, from your modern ruler Pluto, shifting signs, marking the beginning of a massive transformation until 2043. This is a major year, and we're going to break it all down. Scorpio in the year 2024, trust fall. So let's get you acclimated to the astrology of the year ahead by firstly highlighting a defining transit of 2024. Truth be told, Scorpio, I had a more challenging time picking out your defining transit because there's a lot happening for you in the year 2024, but I chose to highlight Uranus and Taurus as your defining transit. Now, it's important to mention that Uranus has been in Taurus since 2018, but the Uranian story is being activated this year with a conjunction to Jupiter, with a sextile to Pluto and Neptune, and it is in your opposite sign, which is creating certain shakeups and changes that you will experience in others. Now, all Scorpios should get dialed in with Uranus and Taurus, because even if you're not having a Uranus transit this year, you can be feeling these themes building. But I particularly want to highlight, if you have Scorpio placements between 19 to 27 degrees Scorpio, you will have a Uranus opposition this year. So all of the themes, all of the energies I'm going to chat through will be particularly potent for you. And so with Uranus transiting your opposite sign, there's going to be a lot of shakeups and changes coming in for you, Scorpio, around relationships and partnerships. The universe is going to answer a lot of your prayers through people, and it's important to stay open. You may find in the year ahead, you are dating people who are outside of your typical type. You can even find, since this transit began in May 2018, your type has changed quite a bit. You're like, yeah, there was that engineer and then there was that banjo player. Like with the energy of Uranus, it's getting a little weird, but it's getting inspiring with the weird, okay? So it is important to stay open to new sorts of people to come into your experience, as well as new perspectives around relationships to come into your experience. Because this year, you will also have South Node in Libra transiting the 12th house. And I just want to highlight for a couple of Scorpios, you are releasing a cycle of codependent relationships. This is a year that new connections are entering your life, but you're trying on new ways of relating. Maybe in the past, you've always put all of the attention on the people who come into your world. You've prioritized their career goals. All of your time was around that person. And keep in mind, I know I'm talking to Scorpios. Okay, listen, I know you guys are so about the people you're about. You want to shrink yourself so you can live in their front pocket. You want to wear a vial of their blood around your neck. Listen, I know who I'm talking to. But what I also want to say is that Uranus is a very kind of detached energy. It's not that you're heartless in the year ahead, but I do see there's a lot baking for you personally where you're trying on new ways around, yes, staying open, making all sorts of amazing connections, but not allowing your own livelihood or your own vitality to be utterly hinged upon other people. Because another effect of Uranus energy is that you can find that there are shakeups around people. Like a lot of times Uranus transiting this sector can make us have to have this more open or attached approach, because sometimes there is an acknowledgement around, hey, I'm in this connection. I'm growing this way. You're growing this way. We need to grow apart. We need to end this connection. Like sometimes this transit can manifest like someone near and dear to you all of a sudden changing and they want to do something different. They want to live abroad. They want to change their career. They want to dye their hair. And with the energy of Uranus, you have to allow people the space and the grace to be themselves. You have to allow people to be able to move towards the changes that they are craving. And this can be a time in which you are observing, like it's dangerous to put all of my own personal confidence, vitality, livelihood in someone else's hands when people are the most fickle of them all. Your partner can wake up tomorrow and want to sell all their stuff and go to the Peace Corps, which I know can be so painful sometimes. But what is the alternative? Ask someone to stop growing so they can fit within the confines of what your connection was when it began. Ask them to let go of that dream. Make yourself shift your entire life to go to the Peace Corps with them, even though you have no desire to do that. Uranus energy can be a reminder that we're all on our own unique journey and you can't stop your partner from growing. Now, this will not be the story for everyone. I don't want you to be freaking out listening, being like, oh my gosh, is my partner gonna join the Peace Corps? They could go through some sort of awakening or something unusual happen within their world that does give them a new lease on life. That does not mean the connection is going to terminate. It may just require a new approach from you around allowing them to go through their journey, allowing them to dye their hair pink if they need to dye their hair pink, allowing them to try this new job. Your partner could be changing quite a bit. And that's not a death sentence for a connection. The right connections do allow us to grow together, right? And you can find while there might be moments where it's kind of like erratic or unstable, like what's your deal? Yesterday your hair was orange, today it's pink. Last week you were a welder, now you're a carpenter. Like what's the deal? There can be growing pains certainly, but one thing's for sure, if you allow your partner the space and the grace to be their own self, there will be an acknowledgement of the ways that maybe you guys can grow together. Maybe your partner will become a carpenter and it will create this amazing lifestyle change that benefits the two together. Again, it can be scary when we acknowledge that someone important within our universe is evolving. There could be energies within us around, wait, what about me? And even like abandonment issues coming to the surface. We'll talk about it. Pluto's in Aquarius, most likely transiting your 4th house. That's a major theme for you. But there is this acknowledgement around, I have to allow my partner to be autonomous and I have to allow them to evolve in the ways that make sense for them. And I have to trust if our journeys are meant to be together, we will continue this journey together. Some of you can find that your connections do take unusual approaches. Like you can find that you and your partner decide you want to live apart for a little bit of time. You can find that you and your partner want to open up the relationship or get into a different sort of relationship dynamic. The energy of Uranus is about remaining open. Again, if that doesn't align with you, if that is not what it is that you want within a connection, I'm not saying that's how it needs to manifest, but with the energy of Uranus in the 7th house, whether it's new routines, new activity, a new way of relating, and allow the flow of the new and the novel into your relationship this year. And so for the Scorpions who are single, this could be a year that you are dating people outside of your typical type. You could be experimenting dating a different gender than you typically date. You could be experimenting different sort of relationship dynamics, a long distance relationship dynamic. You could be meeting people online. You could be really inviting this more novel approach when it relates to connections. And really, especially with the Scorpios who have recently went through a breakup, I know there's a few of you because last year we wrapped up the South Node in Scorpio transit and the Scorpio eclipses, which sometimes can signal the end of a cycle or end of a relationship of some sort. And if that's the case for you, with Uranus transit the 7th house, date every kind of person. Date every kind of person, because that's how you figure out what it is that you like, and with Uranus and Taurus, what it is that you value. I remember I was on the phone with my friend when she was going through a breakup, and she had been in a relationship since she was like 17, I want to say. And my advice to her, I'm going to highlight to you as well, where I was like, date a surfer, date a rapper, date a carpenter, date a welder, figure out what you like. And it's important to highlight, just with Pluto transiting Aquarius, which is most likely the 4th house, challenge your comfort zone, because sometimes what it is that we are drawn to when it comes to relationships and connections is not what is genuinely best for us. Sometimes our type is drove by, unhealed childhood trauma. Not to get too deep, like 10 minutes into the video, but at least I'm talking to Scorpio, so I know you guys do not fear depth. But seriously, challenge your type. Challenge your type. If you are constantly drawn to bad boys, like with Uranus and Taurus, switch it up. Date someone new. Say yes to someone you would typically say no to, because sometimes what feels comfortable to us is not what is healthy to us. And sometimes, in very extreme cases, we are choosing partners who remind us of our most difficult parent, attempting to try to find closure for difficult situations that are open. My gosh, we're getting so deep. Not that far into the video, so apologies about that. But seriously, that is a message for someone. You're also really moving through how to find this more detached approach within relationships. As I said, Scorpio is typically energy where it's like you laser in on the person that you love, and that's such a beautiful quality of you, Scorpio. I just want to highlight, I love the Scorpios in my life so much. They're so devoted. But what I want to highlight here, some of you may be shedding codependent cycles of always making your partner more important, or even hinging your own identity and happiness upon people. And with Uranus, it's asking you to find the spirit of interdependence within your relationships around, yes, being open to cool people that you can make memories with and that you could date and you could get to know and even start a relationship with, certainly, but also understand that we cannot cling to people. With Uranus, people are fickle, people are unusual, they're up, they're down, they're dyeing their hair pink, they're going to the Peace Corps. We have to allow people to be their own selves. And if you are someone who typically does get obsessed within your connections, Uranus might be challenging you to strive where you can stay detached. And I know that word doesn't have a great connotation, but where it is that you can just allow people to live their truth, you live your truth. When you guys come together, it's absolutely beautiful. And when you're apart, you're not freaking out because your entire worth and identity and livelihood and being is not circled and revolved around this person. It's hard. And again, that energy may be alive for you if you are having your Uranus transit this year. Some of you already had your Uranus transits. Some of you will experience it in the years to come. But again, Uranus energy reminds us to expect the unexpected. There can be changes coming into experience. I've talked a lot about romantic relationships, but I also want to highlight business partnerships. This energy can also be alive around, I see our business going this way, you see it going this way. Can we grow together? Can we shake up and innovate together? Or are we feeling called to innovate and grow in different ways? Equally, Uranus is two-way, right? So people could be coming into your universe unusual, out of the blue, is really the energy of Uranus. It's like lightning bolt energy where you were just thinking, I want to start an underwear brand. And then bam, you meet somebody at the supermarket who's like, I've been thinking about starting an underwear brand and I have a manufacturer who wants to do it with, but I don't really have any idea for designs. And you're like, hello? Like Uranus can be that sort of energy. Unusual. And I want to say unusual blessings, particularly because in April 2024, Jupiter will conjoin Uranus, and this is in the house of others. So definitely pay attention to who you meet. This is unexpected, out of the blue blessings and people coming into your experience. Pay attention to who you meet in April 2024. And when it comes to Uranus energy, someone can come into your world who's a muse of sorts, who awakens you to a whole new perspective. A lot of times people are portals, in that even if somebody is not your soulmate, one and only true love ever, people can awaken something within you. They can inspire a new perspective. They can inspire a new idea within you. And that doesn't make their influence any less profound or potent. So yes, some of you could be starting a new relationship. It could be with somebody unusual or someone genius with Jupiter, Uranus conjoining. It could be somebody from a different country or from a different background than your own. This is giving like shotgun wedding energy, like you and your partner just going abroad to get married or meeting someone unusual and things just evolve very quickly. That could be the story for some. For others, it's just meeting someone who awakens a new idea within you that you're like, I never contemplated that. Or somebody wants to start a new business either with you. This conjunction does land in Taurus. Taurus has to do with food, money, and goods. So there could be an awakening around wanting to start a business with this person, or they can just awaken an idea within you that you are meant to take with you. Uranus is the brilliant genius awakener, and people are portals that are awakening new sides to yourself that you didn't even realize you had. I want to tell a story because it reminds me of this energy so much. I never intended to be a professional astrologer. It's so weird how everything unfolded. Like, astrology has been a lifelong hobby, lifelong interest, but I never thought I would do it for work. I went to college. I thought my career path was going to be very traditional and very professional. I never thought I was going to own my own business and do what I loved for work, which is relevant for you all because you have Saturn trines in the 5th house. So some of you are taking a creative endeavor or hobby and turning it into something that makes you money. We'll talk about that in a moment. Anyways, I never thought this is where my journey was taking me, but I made this friend out of the blue, and she and I were just talking about different ideas, how we wanted to like learn how to make like bath bombs and stuff. And of course, we talked a lot about astrology because I was obsessed with astrology at this point, but again, just thought it was my nerdy little hobby. And we came up with the idea to do bath bombs and essential oils for each of the signs, like a Gemini oil, a Libra bath bomb, what have you. And so we had so much fun like designing it, creating it, and then to promote it, we started holding these like astrology workshops where people could learn more about their sign and like purchase the goods and whatnot. And I started realizing how much I loved talking about astrology like at these workshops. And I also started realizing how much I hated making bath bombs and essential oils. It was not my cup of tea. Those things were so time consuming to make, and we honestly lost money on that endeavor because we didn't figure out shipping and they would break when they arrived. It was stressful. But anyways, that experience and getting comfortable teaching workshops, that gave me the confidence I needed to eventually, when we decided that we didn't want to make bath bombs any longer, I was like, I think I'm going to try to just talk about astrology. Like, that's what I really like to do other than hanging out with you. That's what I loved doing within this little like side hustle thing. So I'm going to see how that goes. And then here I am. So it wasn't like an idea that I had where I was like, I'm going to start this thing. It was just a friend came to me with an idea that just awakened something within me. So also acknowledging where that is showing up for you. You could partner with somebody, but again, the spirit of Uranus is also honoring when our journeys take us in different paths. Like for me and my friend that I was highlighting, our journeys, we're still friends, but like our journeys with that project took us in different paths, but it still left me changed. It still left me awakened. So embracing that spirit within your connections and within your partnerships is important this year, Scorpio. So in painting the picture of your 2024, we want to look to your ruling planet to figure out some major themes and influences that are aligning for you within the year ahead. So you have two rulers essentially. You have your traditional ruler Mars and your modern ruler Pluto. I, as an astrologer, utilize traditional rulers, so I will start with Mars, but then we will transition to Pluto. So when it comes to your traditional ruler Mars, I want to highlight a couple of themes that are aligning for you. So Mars changes signs pretty regularly, really like every month and a half. So I'm not going to highlight every single sign that it will transit through. But I do want to say in the year 2024, Mars will make its way from Sagittarius to Leo, which is respectively your second house to your 10th house. And I feel like this is significant. I feel like Scorpios are about their business this year, okay? Because Mars is what it is that we are taking action towards, and it's starting in the house of money and it's ending in the house of career, and it will go retrograde in the house of career, which we will talk about. But I feel like there is this energy around wanting to meet your goals and reach your goals and take a very proactive approach with North Node and Aries in the 6th house, or working to master your craft with Saturn transiting the 5th house. And you're seeking smart ways to maximize income coming your way with Jupiter transiting the 8th. Again, there's a lot baking for you within relationships. You got Pluto at the bottom of the chart, so there definitely is a focus on healing and releasing old stories and things of that nature. But a lot of Scorpios are moving into 2024 and really striving to focus on their goals and what it is that they want to create, as well as being open for opportunities to pivot, to get towards that vision of success that they want, as well as introspect to contemplate if there's any internal blockages or baggage that is blocking them from that vision of success. Why I highlight that is because at the end of the year, at the end of 2024, your traditional ruler Mars will station retrograde in the sign Leo on December 6, 2024. So for the majority of the year, Mars is moving direct, right? So you can really feel like you're moving forward. And then towards the end of the year, there will be this kind of turn inward, this flip of direction around where am I expending my energy at work, and is it serving me? And this retrograde is important for you all because you all this year are essentially leaning into the courage to be seen. And listen, I know I'm talking to Scorpio, so I know you're like, I don't want to be perceived. I want to stay in the shadows. I want to feel out others before I get involved, right? But this is a year in which you are allowing yourself to be seen. You're putting yourself out there with Jupiter and Uranus meeting up in the 7th house. You're being open to the general public and being perceived by others because, again, the universe is going to answer your blessings through other people. And for that to happen, you have to allow yourself to be seen by others. And that retrograde at the end of the year will really make you revisit around where you are sabotaging your success via fear of visibility. Because during that retrograde, both your modern and traditional rulers will connect via oppositions. And again, we will talk about Pluto's journey in a moment, but what I want to highlight here is towards the end of the year, you could be guided to really contemplate what subconscious fears exist within you, some from childhood or your upbringing, that are blocking you from stepping into the leader and the creator that you want to be within the public eye. Because I do want to highlight, either from a house perspective or a solar house perspective, that indicates that Leo would be at the top of the chart, the most public arena of the chart. So it's so funny being a Scorpio because it's like there's parts of you that want to stay in the shadows and be secret. There's parts of you that wants to be seen, okay? And with Mars, your ruling planet, moving retrograde through the sector, it'll nudge you to contemplate how safe nor unsafe you feel, allowing yourself to be perceived and seen on a bigger level. So that retrograde may be a time in which you are essentially forced to confront certain unresolved baggage that exists within you and how that could be leaking into your professional aspirations. Because it's important to highlight, Scorpio, that in many ways success is a magnifier, and we tend to think we could only succeed if we were only famous, or if we were only the leader that we wanted to be, or excelled in the craft that we wanted to have, then all of that stuff from our past and from our upbringing would go away. But there's energy this year, again punctuated by that Mars retrograde at the end of the year, where you may be kind of forced to confront that the new levels that you are reaching within career, the old stuff, the old insecurities, the old junk, the old psychological processing, you can't outrun it. That is sort of the nudge there. And that can be a time that you are introspecting on that. For others of you, you can be revisiting how much energy you are expending at work and if it does feel worth it, if you are proud of what it is that you are building and creating. There can be certain creative blockages or revisits around your creative direction that you are experiencing towards the end of the year during that retrograde. And so in addition to your traditional ruler Mars stationing retrograde in a fire sign, Leo, bringing up reviews around work and around fame and around leadership, Mercury will also be moving retrograde this year in the fire sign. So for you within your chart, that would govern your second house, your sixth house, and your 10th house, money, work, and career, respectively. And retrogrades are introspective energies. They're rethinking energies. And with it occurring within these sectors, stay open to opportunities to pivot within work opportunities. Stay open for new ideas that you can implement or new aspects of yourself that you are wanting to pull into it. Stay open to inspiration. When we talk about fire, we talk about courage and drive. And with these retrogrades, you could be contemplating what aspects of yourself you are wanting to reveal. You could be even introspecting to contemplate, why am I so scared to be seen, or to allow these new creative ideas to light the way. It's important to stay open this year because yes, I do see that there's a focus upon your day-to-day and your work and getting to the money and all of that. But there's a lot also happening beneath the surface for you, Scorpio, where you're starting to ask yourself, why is it that I want what I want? And am I allowing my full self to be seen within work? Is this an honest expression of who I am with these gifts that I have been given? Because it's important to highlight with all these retrogrades and fire signs, like fire doesn't ask, am I burning too bright? Am I too hot? Is this too tall of a flame? It just burns. So it just feels like this year you are allowing yourself to be truly seen, and truly seen within your unapologetic authenticity. You're allowing other people to be how it is that they are with Uranus in your 7th house, and you're also allowing yourself to be your own being within your work, within your projects. And so it's important with those retrogrades to stay open to pivoting. Don't feel like you need to stay in something that is not serving you. If you feel like you're having to suppress fundamental parts to yourself and to your being, lean into those retrogrades to contemplate, is this serving me? Do I feel valued? Do I feel like my efforts are being recognized? Do I feel like I'm being known for what it is that I want to be known for? Be open to pivot, be open to inspired new ideas, whether they came from you or came from somebody else, and be open to be seen. I really see Scorpios are allowing themselves to be perceived this year and to be seen this year, and there can be some very authentic, very vulnerable parts of yourself that you are allowing yourself to be seen within. And again, it could bring up hidden stuff beneath the surface that you're being asked to confront and acknowledge. But I'm just seeing that a lot of Scorpios are being guided to step into the role as a creative or as a leader that you are meant to be, and to no longer let those limiting stories or limiting beliefs or old baggage hold you back. So whether you are choosing to show up on social media, you're getting a promotion at work, I definitely see a lot of you are focusing on your goals this year, but equally you're also contemplating what's beneath the surface and how that could be sabotaging that vision of what it is that you want to move towards. So to deepen this message, let's look at what your modern ruler is doing, Pluto, because Pluto's quite busy this year. So Pluto starts the year in Capricorn. It re-enters Aquarius January 20th. Your modern ruler will station retrograde May 2nd at 2 degrees Aquarius, and it will re-enter Capricorn in September. And then it settles into Aquarius for good November 20th. Now, you don't have to remember all of these dates if you're not familiar with me and my content. I do a weekly horoscope series. It's called Magic Monday. I guide you through every single week of astrology. I've got you. You don't have to remember this all now. But I want to highlight this dabble between Capricorn and Aquarius is incredibly important for you, either from a modern ruler perspective, but also from an angular house perspective. So let's talk about it. When Pluto is in Capricorn, it's wrapping up an ongoing story that has been playing out around your mind, around your communication. So the Pluto in Capricorn story has been ongoing since 2008. And for you, the work that you've been doing really comes down to your mind. It comes down to communication, finding your voice, empowering your communication, sharpening in your craft as it relates to speaking, writing, sharing information. You could find that during this transit, your mind was quite obsessive. And my hope for you being on the end of this transit, I hope that you can contemplate all that has transpired since 2008. And certainly Pluto can be this very obsessive sort of spiraling sort of energy within our mental state. But I hope that you, by the end of this transit, were able to find this energy of empowerment over your mind, like really striving to empower yourself from the inside out, empowering your inner landscape. Some of you could have gotten into therapy or something of that nature, really wanting to understand the inner workings of your mind and make that obsessive quality that naturally you have, your Scorpio, work for you. Because again, with Pluto in third house, your mind has been like a laser beam since 2008, where it's like what you focused on and narrowed in on, you got obsessed with, and you could have hyperfixated on random hobbies or interests, and that could have been something helpful. Like you got into certain interests and it helped pave your pathway forward. And Pluto energy is a double-edged sword, because just like there can be constructive obsessions when it comes to our mind, there can also be destructive obsessions and ruminations and things of that nature. And hopefully with the energy of Pluto, you're able to transform your way of communicating and your own mental state. Now, the journey that began last year and now officially settles in this year is Pluto in Aquarius, which for you is a major, major transit. I want to share that if you have Scorpio placements between 0 to 2 degrees, you will have a Pluto transit this year, and that accentuates all of the energy that I'm going to communicate to you. But for all of you, understanding that from now until 2043, Pluto is going to be rocking with you eventually. Okay, so you're going to want to get dialed into this energy. Pluto is transiting the most sacred arena of the chart. It has to do with our emotional state. It has to do with our roots. And beyond even just the physical childhood home that we grew up in, it's also our lineage, our ancestry. And with Pluto transiting here, there can be major transformations that are taking place, a major epiphanies around who it is that you are and how your upbringing molded you to be that way. I highlighted this earlier when I was talking about the partners that we select. Sometimes it can be ingrained, what we witnessed or what we saw or what we did not receive. And I just see with Pluto transiting the sector, you're really wanting to get to the root of old stories. And I'll be forthright, just as Pluto can be empowering, it can also be very triggering. It could be very traumatizing. There could be certain discoveries that you make around your lineage or around your ancestry. There can be power struggles with family members of some sort. Some of you could be moving, honestly, from some point from now till 2043. And when we talk about Pluto, it's like upheaval, new life energy, new home energy. And so some of you might be navigating a major disruption to your home, like something like a divorce or majorly renovating your house, something of that nature. Your foundations can be shaken up at this time for the purpose of rebuilding. That's what's so important to remind ourselves about Pluto energy, is that yes, with Pluto transiting this sector, there can be some intense emotions that are asking for you to feel them. There can be things that you feel like you've known about yourself around, this is where I come from, this is who I am, to my foundations, that you are starting to question. You are starting to uproot things that you thought were solid, aspects of yourself you thought were secure, even family dynamics that you thought, well, it's always going to be that way. With the energy of Pluto, it does shake up, and it does so for the purpose of true empowerment. When we talk about Pluto transiting an angular house, it's so important to lean into this theme of evolution that is coming into your universe. With Pluto and Uranus transiting angular houses, 4th and 7th respectively, this is a year to stay open. This is a year that change is coming, like it or not. That's why I themed your forecast like trust fall. I do feel like a lot of blessings are coming your way, Scorpio. Like I said, there's this energy around wanting to build forward, okay? But you are really wanting to build forward on the right aspirations, on the right dreams, and for the right reasons. Hence why, Mars retrograde is making you contemplate career goals. And with that Mars retrograde opposing Pluto, it's like, are these my dreams, or are they my family? Like, am I turning down this position because it's not right for me? Or am I just fearful of putting myself out there because I had this troublesome family dynamic that made me feel like I am flawed and I should not be perceived? Like, again, you're taking this deeper dive to why you want what you want. And you're building your dreams and your aspirations on the right foundation. But I want to be so straight up with you, Scorpio, because I know you're a sign that likes it straight up. Pluto energy can sometimes really make us go deep, do the work, and really contemplating how it is that you've been emotionally coping. Random message, but I feel like a couple of Scorpios just with this energy, as well as Saturn transiting Pisces in the 5th house. Some of you are getting sober this year, or you're also just looking at certain ways that you've been coping, and you're really looking at them around, is this empowering to have within my universe? Is this helpful? Is this going to help me to genuinely evolve forward? Or am I just numbing myself? Again, that could be substances, but it can also be avoidance. It can also be certain things that you've been running from, where Pluto takes us deep into our psyche, deep into our emotional state, and asks us to face what we've been running from. Because whenever I think of the 4th house, it's the base of the chart, it's the roots of the chart, it's the foundations of the chart. And with Pluto transiting the sector, it's like you can build the nicest house that you want, but if the foundations are not sound, that house will collapse. And so understanding, for some of you, there may be certain arenas of your life that do collapse. And it's challenging with Pluto energy, but you just have to allow change to come in. Change is going to come regardless. And to be quite honest with you, Scorpio, your modern ruler Pluto will trine Jupiter in June. So I actually feel like what is collapsing or falling away, or what it is that you're letting go of, is carving space for genuine expansion, a genuine energy around being able to move forward and receive more. Again, when something gets taken from us, we can look back and be like, no, I don't understand. I thought this was something solid within my universe. But I really feel like if there is something that departs your world this year that you're like, wow, I did not know this person was going to be like that, or I did not know that this home sale was not going to work out, or however that shows up, you just have to rest in that knowledge and in that trust that something better is around the bend. And that's hard with Pluto energy, because sometimes Pluto energy can make us confront our fears. And I feel like for some of you, there's like a fear of abandonment underneath the surface, where it's like, even if something happens in business where a client chooses not to work with you any longer, or your partner takes another job opportunity for work somewhere else, it can trigger that like inner child energy around, no, don't leave me. Even if it's not aligned for you, like, no, don't leave me, because I'm scared to get left. And with Pluto energy, it might make you revisit that scared, like wounded child that exists within you, and like to reach out and hug that person rather than clinging to this thing that's leaving your life. Like that's what's really important, is that this year is such a revolving door for you, Scorpio, around new things are entering, but to carve the space for these new blessings to come in, you equally need to allow old things to leave. And you might feel like, okay, yeah, this is something that is outdated. I have been wanting to sell this house. I have been feeling like this relationship's not aligned. I have been feeling like this career aspiration, I want to pivot in some way. But other things you might be like, no, universe, why are you taking this away from me? And you just have to trust. When it comes to Pluto energy, you have to trust. And you're at the very beginning of this journey. So for some of you, you could feel this Pluto energy. For some of you, it might kick in a little bit later, but ultimately you will leave this transit reborn, like in 2043, reborn, and having a very solid foundation around who you are, what you want, what makes you happy, what your emotional coping strategies are, if they're serving you, how your childhood affected you, how your roots affected you, how your family dynamics have affected you, the power dynamics within family, the home that you live in. These are all arenas that may transform throughout this transit. Editing Haley here. As I said in the beginning, it is never my intention to fearmonger, but I do need to be forthright about the energy of Pluto. Pluto as a planet has to do with death and rebirth, grief and loss. And so with Pluto transiting here, some of you until 2043 may either lose someone within your family. Again, no fear. I don't want you to panic with this information. There can be certain grief that you are navigating. It also can show up around just grieving a certain era of your family, even grieving what your family was before you found out certain information. Pluto can go deep in that regard. I also see with Pluto here and Saturn within the 5th, you could also be grieving your own inner child, what they had to go through, what they didn't get to experience. Some of you could be grieving a childhood home, or a home that encased you for a really important time of your life. So just observing how these shades of Pluto are essentially moving through this very foundational house of the chart. So now that we know the story of Mars and Pluto, let's dive into some other major transits and themes that you can expect within the year ahead. So of course, a year is a long time, and there are a lot of transits that we are moving into within this next year. I wanted to highlight the most important ones for you, and here I'm going to break down some overall themes based on some other essentially celestial events that are occurring. The first theme I see is healing. I see healing strongly within this year's astrology. For some of you, that's going to take place in a very physical way, okay? I see this with North Node aligning with Chiron in your 6th house. Some of you are getting serious about your health, and you're taking action with North Node in Aries towards your health. You're no longer wanting to exist within the shadows. I see a huge theme where you're letting go of escapism this year. Like I said, some of you could be getting sober. Some of you could just be letting go of keeping yourself in the dark. What I don't know won't hurt me. With North Node in Aries in the 6th house, you're really diving deep around, no, I want to know what's messing up my digestion so much, or I want to know what's making me so inflamed. There could be this energy around really wanting to dive in and take charge of your physical body and really invest in your healing. And that could be in a physical lens. So some Scorpios are getting more into working out this year. You're taking charge of your nutrition. You're striving to get more active. You're coping with your emotional problems a little bit more physically this year and a little bit more directly this year, because just as we're highlighting physical healing, I also see there's some emotional healing taking place. But to get to that emotional healing, there may be old stories or old triggers sort of presented, because Pluto energy can take us deep into our psyche, into everything that we've been running from. And so certainly there are blessings coming your way should you confront your emotions, where these old stories have come from, and productive, constructive ways of working through them rather than destructive ways of working through them. And so adding to that, outside of physical wellness, 6th house also has to do with our day-to-day work. And so with North Node in Aries in the 6th house, Scorpios are getting to work. You're not allowing things to fester in the shadows this year. You're really taking charge. You're wanting to improve your health forthright. You're wanting to improve your emotional health forthright. You're wanting to take action towards your dreams and aspirations. Some Scorpios are going to get more into nutrition or things of that nature. You're really wanting to feel your best within your day-to-day. Because when it comes to North Node in Aries, you're also taking charge of your daily routine, of your schedule, of your work. Like I said, I really feel like Scorpios are getting to the bag this year. You're hustling this year. Again, not in a way where you're trying to outrun your problems, because we know this lineup is not allowing you to do that. But you're genuinely getting to the root of what it is that you want, and it's really empowering you around, this is why I'm showing up in the ways that I do. I owe it to myself to make this happen. You could be open to starting something new for work with North Node in Aries within the 6th house. You could be open to advocating for new advancement opportunities, new leadership opportunities, which again might scare you a little bit, but I see with those retrogrades and with Pluto transiting the base of your chart, you're really getting to the root around, why is this scaring me, and how can I let go of this fear in order to step into the greatness that I embody? Like I see with North Node in Aries in the 6th house, you're taking charge within your day-to-day. You're advocating for yourself within your coworkers. You're really wanting to commit to the routines that are going to get you towards where it is that you want to go, and you're wanting to devote yourself to your physical well-being, essentially. And so when it comes to having the opposite, South Node in Libra in the 12th house, I highlighted this briefly earlier, where some of you have a tendency to escape or to self-sabotage through relationships, and you're ending that this year. Again, healthy relationships full of growth and mutual respect and mutual growth only, okay? With South Node Libra in the 12th house, you're not losing yourself in connections any longer, or at least the eclipses are trying to allow you to acknowledge your tendency to do that. Other themes, you're just letting go of unhealthy coping mechanisms like point blank period. You are really striving to be direct around solving problems, around getting to action, around disrupting old ingrained patterns with Pluto at the base of your chart. You're taking action, Scorpio. It's kind of a badass year for you, to be quite honest. So that story of 6th house, 12th house will be accentuated around the eclipses, which are as follows. March 25th, lunar eclipse in Libra, April 8th, solar eclipse in Aries, and August 2nd, solar eclipse in Libra. Now there is one other eclipse. It is September 17th. That one is in Pisces, and that's more so of a foreshadow of the work that we'll be doing next year. So let's get to your next theme because it's absolutely tied in with that eclipse. Your next theme is perfecting and honing your craft. With North Node in 6th house, some of you are hustling, you are working, you are putting in hours, okay? You are not just escaping from your problems, dreaming about things happening. You are putting in the effort. Now, that's not to say you're not attracting wealthy donors and investors who can help your idea come to life, because I definitely see that as well. But with the energy of North Node in Aries, Saturn in the 5th house, you're really wanting to refine your craft, particularly if you work in a creative field or you do something that you love for work. Some of you, maybe you love spirituality, you love tarot readings, or you love Reiki, whatever it is, and you're taking something that you love, because that's 5th house, and you're putting in the work and the effort with Saturn transiting here. Now, with Saturn in the 5th house is also dating. So like I said, be open to connections, but with Saturn in the 5th house, you might be dating like business people or people who are older. With Saturn transit the 5th house, again, typically Saturn will restrict and limit what it moves through, but I just feel like with Jupiter and Uranus in the 7th house, definitely a time to be open to dating and connecting with unusual people. For some of you, you might get in a serious relationship that could take you off the dating market, or you're really doing the work around how you numb yourself or lose yourself within romantic relationships, within flirting and what have you, and Saturn's making you really look at that tendency clearly. Additionally to that, some of you can be really looking at your partying habits and if it is serving you. Like with North Node Aries 6th house, I really feel like some of you are working out, you're prioritizing your wellness, and with the energy of Saturn and Pisces in the 5th house, you're like, I can't go out clubbing if I need to be at Barry's at 7 a.m. the next day. Like with Saturn 5th house, yes, you might be having less fun, but what I see for a lot of Scorpios is you're taking something that's fun or enjoyable and turning it into something that's part of your legacy. But it will make you do the work. Like Saturn 5th house makes you get very serious about your craft. Like whether you're inspired or not, taking that time to write every day, whether you're inspired or not, taking that time to film your tarot readings, whatever it is. I see for some of you who have been wanting to take a hobby and turn it into work, North Node in Aries is supporting initiative around work, 6th house, and Saturn in the 5th house is supportive around taking a hobby and turn it into work, so long as you have delayed gratification about it. Okay, with Saturn in the 5th house, rewards may take some time to come in, and also that you exert discipline. Like Saturn does give rewards, but it doesn't give them easy. So like showing up for your craft and really seeking to get better. Like I said, the universe blesses us in all sorts of ways. So also being open to constructive criticism that come in from others. Like allow the focus. How can I be the best writer or creator possible this year? And this is so random. Bear with me, Scorpio, but some of you are getting to the bag this year. Okay, some of you are getting to the bag. Let me say why. So on May 25th, Jupiter will leave Taurus and enter Gemini. Now, this is not the most blessed transit for Jupiter because Jupiter much prefers being in Gemini's opposite sign, Sagittarius, but it does have some blessings based on the house that it is transiting. And with Jupiter in Gemini in the 8th house, you can receive from others. It's an important time to think smartly and shrewdly with how it is that you exert your time and energy in order to maximize revenue that can come to you. When it comes to Jupiter in the 8th house, especially in Gemini, some of you could be learning new investment strategies. You're learning new ways to make your money work for you. Some of you can be benefiting from other people. Some of you are attracting a wealthy investor or donor, or working with people who want to invest in you and invest in your craft. That's a message for a couple of you. You may experience with Jupiter in Gemini, it will square Saturn in Pisces in August and in December of 2024. And you may find that somebody who's investing in you or that you're partnering with is trying to filter or take charge of your creativity in some way. That won't be a message for everyone. For some, there could be disputes over shared assets, particularly involving children with that Jupiter square to Saturn at the end of the year. But ultimately, with Jupiter transiting this sector in the latter portion of the year, be open to receive. The universe is going to bless you in very unusual ways. And it's important to have trust. Like you could just find random checks in the mail, random people who want to buy you things, random people who want to take you out out, okay? The universe is like low-key your sugar daddy. At the end of the year. But it's important with Jupiter and Gemini, contemplate and think about ways that you can make that money work for you. And like I was saying, the universe can be answering your blessings via people. So also being open to managers, financial advisors, people that you can partner with in order to maximize and grow your wealth. Some might be marrying, or you might experience that your partner gets a boost in income around this time. Again, there can be temporary shortages or restrictions that you feel towards the end of the year when Jupiter does square Saturn. But with Jupiter in the 8th house, be open to receive, okay? People are going to be blessings for you this year, Scorpio. So stay open to receive from others, because people are vehicles from the universe. Like if somebody wants to invest in you or give you money or support you in some way, think of them being sent by the universe. Like the universe is sending these people to you in order to invest in what it is that you are creating, the craft that you are building, the creativity that you are putting out into the planet. So it's important to stay open to it. Again, there can be certain energies within you around feeling uncomfortable accepting support from others. There's just with Pluto at the bottom of the chart, there could be power struggles around family, around why you got a certain inheritance and other people didn't. That's not going to be a message for everyone, but that might be something that comes up. But most certainly with Jupiter and Gemini trining Pluto, it can be a year that you can really grow your wealth in unexpected ways. Some of you could benefit from real estate in some way, or some other investment could grow during this time. So in closing, Scorpio, I want to take you through every single planet and where it's transiting for you, so that you can know some of the big picture themes that are playing out within your year ahead. So firstly, with Jupiter in Taurus transiting your likely 7th house, be open for your prayers to be answered through other people. That could be answering your prayers for a serious connection that's echoed by Saturn in the 5th, or answering your prayers around a new lucrative investment or a new project that you want to work on. Stay open to other people. Then Jupiter and Gemini will move into your 8th house, making you a magnet to receive from others. This can come through in unexpected gains from your spouse's income, from merged assets, shared partnerships of some sort. This can come through in gifts and people supporting you, even in ways beyond financial. I want to highlight here that with Jupiter and Gemini, Gemini is about information and messages you could receive via really helpful advice, or working with a financial advisor, or with a manager who gives you information on how you can continue to grow your wealth. So be open to receive, my loves. With Saturn transiting the 5th house, do the work around refining and mastering your craft. This can be a time in which you can elevate something that is fun, something that is a hobby, into work, but it will come after a lot of work and a lot of discipline, most certainly. Speaking of work, with North Node in Aries transiting the 6th house, you are doing the work. And I say that, yes, you're doing the work around your working out, you're wanting to improve your health, but you're also doing the work here and the work here. You're not allowing old coping strategies to fester. You're seeking to solve your problems, solve your beef, solve your conflict very straight up and assertively. With Uranus transiting the 7th house, expect the unexpected within relationships. Embrace eccentric types within your universe. They can inspire you, start something new, certainly with Uranus transiting the sector. With Neptune transiting the 5th house, this is not a year for escapism for you, Scorpio. I'm being so for real with you about that, okay? And with Neptune in the 5th house, some of you may have certain partying tendencies that you've not been seeing clearly. And with Saturn also in the sector, you may be being asked to let go of certain hobbies or recreational activities that are making you numb out from your reality, rather than allowing you to build towards your dream reality. And with Pluto transiting the 4th house, some of you are moving through this major transformative energy of getting to the psychological root of your emotional state, of how your childhood molded you, and really striving to evolve beyond old familiar grooves that you've been in. I want to highlight here where you grew up, where you came from, what happened to you. It's not your fault, but with Pluto transiting here, evolving past it is your responsibility this year. So Scorpio, I'm going to leave you with some soul-centered celestial affirmations. So I've written these based on the energies that you are moving through within 2024. And I have a link below where you can either save them, have them on your desktop, or print them out to revisit them, to remind yourself yourself to continue to hold that vision of the highest possible manifestation of these energies to play out within your universe. So the Scorpio soul-centered affirmations for 2024 is as follows. I face my reality directly. I hold the vision of the most empowered version of myself and I step into them. I am open to new inspiring connections. I grant myself the space to be my own authentic self. Equally, I allow others to be their own authentic selves. I call in the aligned individuals who will support my growth. I allow the universe to release any outdated connections that are stagnating my evolution. I am open to receive from unexpected sources. I do the work to be the best creative I can possibly be. I owe it to myself to make my dreams come true. My daily reality reflects my big picture goals. I treat my vessel with respect. I allow myself to be seen. I release old patterns that have held me back. So Scorpio, what are you looking forward to within the year ahead? I would love to know. Comment below. My Instagram handle is @HaleyCometAstrology. My TikTok is the same. I would so love to connect with you over there. I'm having so much fun with this series, Scorpio. Thank you so much for spending this last hour or so with me. I am so appreciative. This series was created because I was contemplating how I wanted to give back to my community. It's been such an amazing year. I was contemplating doing a giveaway and I was like, no, I want to do something that gives to every single person who is within my community. Even if you're brand new to my community, I wanted to give a gift to every single person. So I thought this would be the closest thing to a personal reading. And again, you'll want to check out your rising sign, your sun sign for sure. You're so welcome to listen to your other personal planets if you would like to really piece together what themes are aligning for you within the cosmos. And until we meet again, Scorpio, drink lots of water and stay cosmic.